Selma Teacher 7, Mr. Barry here. Today we're going to be talking about my Tesla and charging at EV stations. And this came about because one of my subscribers asked a question. He said, Mr. Barry, since you own a Tesla, does that mean that you can only charge at your home or at the Tesla superstations or superchargers? And the answer is no, I'm not restricted to just charging at those locations. I can actually charge at any EV station by the use of adapters. So I have different adapters that will take in something like a CCS plug and convert it over to a NACS. I also have the J1772 adapter that will convert it over to a NACS. And I also have a CHAdeMO adapter. And this is what CHAdeMO looks like here. And it also converts it over to a NACS. So I have all these different adapters. And I carry them in the back of the car in the trunk there, and that way if I need to stop at an EV station that's not Tesla, hey look, I can plug in with this one here or any of the others and get a complete charge there. I'm going to be talking about the names of these and how much I actually get, how much power I get from using each of these different stations or different adapters. So let's take a look at this, you and I. Come on. So let's start with the plug that actually comes on the Tesla, and we open up the port by bumping it there. And this is the NACS port here. NACS stands for North American Charging Standard. And that's what comes with the car. And then all the adapters will plug into the cable, and then you plug in the cable into the port here, the NACS port. So here's the actual plug from a Tesla supercharging station there. You can actually see what it looks like there, and that plugs into the car there. And the max that I can get, the max power that I can actually get out of those stations is 250 kilowatts. So that means that I can charge up 250 kilowatts per hour of battery space. Now my battery is not 250, it's 82 kilowatt hours in size. So you can actually do the math there very quickly and figure out that it doesn't take very much time at all to charge at one of these stations. Normally, I don't go from 0 to 100 either, because when you charge past 80, the charge rate slows down dramatically. So you want to charge up to about 80%, 85% or so, and that's all you need. Now, let's say that I'm charging from 20 to 80%. That's going to take me usually around 10 to 12 minutes to do using one of these stations here with the NACS plug on a Tesla superstation or supercharging station. Now let's jump into the next plug here, and the next one that we have here is the adapter actually, and this goes from the J1772 plug to the NACS plug, and that's what it looks like. It's a little plug there, and these only give me 7 kilowatts of power. So in an hour I can gain, or I can receive 7 kilowatt hours. That's really slow. This is something that you'd usually plug in at home. So if you have a home charger that happens to be a J1772 charger at your house, which is common, I have it for my other car. So when you buy an EV, it usually comes with a J1772 plug that you plug into the car, and hopefully your wall is a 220 wall socket. And if you want to, you can also plug it into the 110, but that's going to be even slower. That's going to be about half the rate, about 3 to 3.5 kilowatts per hour of charge rate. So again, if you plug this into a 220, this is going to give me 7 kilowatts of power, or 7 kilowatts per hour of charge. And there's many stations around in my town and in other larger towns that offer the J1772 plugs for free. So if you have this adapter, you can actually plug in for free at those stations. How many hours would it take for me to get a full charge from this? Well, if I was on 0 and I wanted to go to 100, that's 82 kilowatt hours I would need to fill up, right? So that'd take 12 hours. That's easy. That'd take 12 hours. It's very, very rare that I would actually need to charge from 0 to 100. Normally I only need a very small amount. This is just to top it off. So I'm usually plugged in there between 2 and 2.5 hours because I'm just plugging in, and I plug in and then I do my shopping and all that in town, and then I come back in a couple hours and I've received a free charge there. So again, this is J1772 to the NACS charge adapter. This is what plugs into the car, and this is what plugs into the cable. And since we're on the topic of J1772 plugs there, I actually brought in my EV adapter or EV charger for my other EV. And when you buy an EV, I was saying that you get one of these that you do, and this is what mine looks like for my Leaf. And this is the part that plugs into the wall. Okay, this plugs into a NEMA 1450 plug, and that's what it looks like there. I do have the adapter to plug it into a regular wall socket, a regular 110 wall socket, but that would be really slow, right? This is the part that plugs into the car, and this is the wall part right here. So that's how it works there. I want to make sure that you didn't get confused by some of my language that I used earlier. Alrighty, now we're going to go on to the next charger adapter, and the next one that we have is CHAdeMO. Now, this is what CHAdeMO looks like. It's a huge plug. You can see it right here. This is large, and the cable is large. Let's take a look at this now, actually being used. So this is the CHAdeMO, and the max power that you can actually receive from the CHAdeMO is about 50 kilowatts. So every hour there's about 50 kilowatt of power, or 50 kilowatts per hour. So let's do the math with the CHAdeMO or the CHAdeMO plug here. And these deliver a max of 50 kilowatt hour, or 50 kilowatts there. So for every hour you get 50 kilowatts of power. Now if I am filling up my Tesla and it has an 82 kilowatt hour battery pack, or that's the capacity of my battery, right? Well, this is going to take anywhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours to fill up my car with the CHAdeMO plug. The reality is, when out in the wild, when I'm actually out, finding a CHAdeMO station and I plug in, does it really deliver, or does it really give out 50 kilowatts of power? And the reality is, no, it's not. It's closer to 36 to 40. And that means it's going to bump up our time that we're sitting at a CHAdeMO station, and that can be anywhere between 2 hours to 2.5 hours if I was fully needing a full charge there. Remember too that after you received up to 80% or 85% of your capacity, the charge rate slows down. That means the amount of power that you're receiving from your station drops dramatically. So that therefore you only want to charge up to about 80 or 85% normally on your daily runs there, and you only need to charge up to max power basically at home before a long trip. Now the next plug that we're going to be talking about is the CCS, and this is the CCS plug or adapter that goes from CCS to the NACS. Let's talk about this one now and see it, what it looks like there out in the wild. The CCS, or Combined Charging System, can deliver a max of 350 kilowatts of power. But the reality is, out in the wild, I usually find them charging anywhere between 50 and 250 kilowatts. Hey, so there you have it. You now know some of the adapters that I, being a Tesla owner, use for my Tesla there. The most common one that you're going to see out there in the wild, if you ask the average Tesla owner if he has an adapter, it would probably be this one right here. This is the CCS for the CCS1, and we also have the J1772 adapter. Those two would be the most common ones found in the trunk of a Tesla there. The CHAdeMO, that's more of a rarity, but anyway, I have it because in my area there are a few CHAdeMO stations. Hey, if you like these types of videos, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below because I do read your comments and your questions. So if you have a question about Tesla or charging standards or anything like that, if you have any questions there, just go ahead and add those to the comments. I'll be sure to get to those as soon as I can. And I like to say, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. And a big thank you to all those who stuck to the end. Thank you very much. Y'all have a very good day, and bye-bye.